I would like to welcome to the call Siedah Garrett. Everybody on this call probably knows her from Do You Want It Right Now, which we'll talk about here in a minute since it's been re-released and reworked with Eden Prince. You also know her from a song Kissing. She's worked with the Pointer Sisters, Brand New Heavies, Quincy Jones, Donna Summer, Madonna, Jennifer Houston. It's just a few people that I think we've heard on. You've heard her vocals on Papa Don't Preach and Where's the Party, which you might not know. She co-wrote Michael Jackson's Man in the Mirror, and Quincy Jones refers to her or calls her Sid. So we'll talk about that. She was on a 1989 TV pilot, Wally and the Valentines.
Oh my gosh.
Tatiana Ali and Tevin Campbell. I do my homework. You hosted a TV show called America's Top 10. I don't know if Brian Fink's on today because he does America's Dance 30. That would be kind of cool. You joined the Brand New Heavies in 1996. You were on Madonna's Reinvention Tour in 2004. You've won a Grammy. Siedah Garrett has joined us, as well as Eden Prince, who's joining us from London. You know him from his deep house sound. He's put out PYT Toxic Senorita. As we've mentioned, he's reworked on Do You Want It Right Now with Siedah. He's done a song with Queen. And he's got a single coming out that he just put out called Loving You Again with a coup. I'd like to welcome to the call Siedah Garrett and Eden Prince.
Hey, everybody.
Hi, guys.
Thank you, DJs. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, especially you, Eden. You rock. That remix is powerful. It's the joint. It makes me want to move. I'm so happy that I'm even on anybody's radar 30 plus years later. But you know, I was just a child at the time. So I'm super pleased. And I'm just my heart is so full. I'm so grateful and thankful for the love.
Let's talk about Do You Want It Right Now? Let's talk about the original for a minute, because in 1985, I was a DJ in clubs in New York City, and that was arguably the biggest song I could play at the time. I actually spoke to Jelly Bean Benitez yesterday.
Yes.
Jelly Bean and he may still. I had asked him if he would pop on the call to say hi, because I know him well, and he's actually got a live stream that he's actually sound checking for right now. So I don't know if he'll be able to join us. But how do you go from Do You Want It Right Now in 1985, massive record, to this incredible Eden Prince reworking, right? Siedah versus Eden Prince version in 2021
versus Eden Prince, more like with Eden Prince. Versus sounds like a battle. We were together.
It's true. It's true.
I mean, Eden, do you remember like when you got the call to work on it? Did the label reach out? Did you reach out to a label?
So I got a call with the opportunity, and as soon as I heard Siedah Garrett, it was like, yep, absolutely, sign me up. I am doing this because, it's so funny because I grew up, listening to all sorts of music, and some of Siedah's hits were just such staples in my house growing up. So it's almost so funny that things have come full circle, and now that I'm making music and getting asked to work with the legend that is Siedah, it was just amazing. So I'm so honored to be able to work on this.
Eden, who are your mother and father? Because I want to thank them for having such brilliant musical tastes.
Can we see a remix of Kissing coming?
Uh-oh.
Oh, listen, I'll remix the whole catalog, the whole discography, easily, happily.
I mean,
he's English. Oh my God. I had no idea.
Have the two of you met before?
No, we've never met. This is the first time. So this is the first time I'm getting the opportunity to say, Siedah, thank you for everything. You're a legend. Welcome. You're a legend.
Be for sure, my dear, you're not my first Englishman. Trust and believe.
That's great. Look, I love that calls like this can bring artists and collaborators together. We've featured some of the most amazing artists over the last year and a half or a year plus since we've been in lockdown, because since we can't bring artists to radio, we bring radio to the artist, or we're still bringing you to radio in just a different form. So, thank you so much for doing this. And I'm very glad that we could somewhat introduce the two of you. I mean, Eden, could you see yourself, I might put you on the spot, both of you, could you see yourself doing an original with Siedah?
Absolutely. I would love to. Like I said, grew up listening to Siedah's music. Amazing that I got to do this project with Siedah, and I love her voice. And I have to admit, like, I was almost a little bit ashamed. Obviously, I knew, some of Siedah's music growing up, but I didn't even realize, like, to an extent, how much she's actually contributed to music in general, such as co-writing "Man in the Mirror," probably one of my favorite songs of all time. So it's not until recently I've actually deep dived and realized, wow, Siedah is actually way bigger than I realized. So I was just humbled to be a part of this track. So yeah.
You know how to make a Black woman blush, darling. That's all I have to say.
Siedah, you worked with, I mean, when we talk about a Michael Jackson, it doesn't get any bigger than that. When we talk about a Quincy Jones, a Madonna, some of the people that you've worked with, when Do You Want It Right Now came out, it was on the Fast Forward soundtrack on Quincy's label. How did you first meet Quincy?
It was a cattle call. He was looking for a group like the Fifth Dimension or Manhattan Transfer. And he held an open call in Music Connection magazine. And it was so weird because I've been in a singing group since I was in my teens. And the girl that was in the group with me knew about the audition, but she didn't tell me. Her boyfriend told me, right? I also, he told me about the audition. I went very early in the morning, stood in line, signed up, and then auditioned that day. And over the course of like 9 months, I would get these letters. Congratulations, you're one of 500 for Quincy Jones, then 100, then 25, then 10, then 5, then 4. Me and 3 guys, we were Deco. That record from the Fast Forward soundtrack was our first record together that we did as the group Deco. And Jelly Bean picked that song, and I happened to sing that song without the guys. And in the movie, that song plays for exactly 15 seconds in the guitar solo. So I'm not even heard anywhere in the movie, but the song went on to become a huge record. I'm so grateful. Jelly Bean was an amazing producer. He was very encouraging. He just let me do my thing. And it was fun to make. And when I listen to it back, it's fun to remember what it was like recording it. And now that it's having a resurgence, I'm just over the moon. I'm tickled pink. I can't stand myself right now.
We talk about working with big artists. I've been blessed in my career to work with some of the biggest artists. And there's at times where I get starstruck or awestruck when I meet somebody. When you met Michael Jackson or worked with Madonna, is there a part of you that is like, I can't believe this is happening?
All the time. When you're in the presence of an artist like that you've listened to your whole life and never even thought that you'd be like within reaching distance of that person, it's kind of awe-inspiring and ridiculous, really, if you think about the ridiculousness of life and the way things happen. Just inspires me and makes me laugh every day.
Hey, Siedah, if this music career doesn't work out, I think you could like audition for a role as like the hype man, hype woman, like before, like a comedy.
Come on, everybody, we can do it. We can do it.
You definitely have the energy. Thank you for bringing it with us. I mentioned earlier that it's a Siedah versus Eden Prince, and you kind of said no, it's with. But Eden, a question for you, because you did like an Eden Prince versus Basement Jaxx, another artist I've had the pleasure of working with, Mermaid of Baja. What's your thoughts? You do remixes. Do you prefer a remix by Eden Prince? Do you prefer if it's a versus Eden Prince?
It doesn't make much of a difference for me. For me, it's all about kind of collaborating with different people, mixing different styles. I mean, house music is definitely my forte and something that is just, I feel is very much in my core. But I love switching it up, working with different people, taking different elements from different genres, and working with all sorts of people. So I'm very open in that regard.
We mentioned you have a song out right now called Love You Again on Defected's imprint Dance for Dance. And you've got a song getting ready to come out on May 14th called Green Light. Would you like to talk about either one of those two, or let people on this call know a little bit about those two songs?
Yeah, so Love You Again just came out a couple of weeks ago. Very quite soulful house with the singer Aquia, who absolutely killed it. That was actually the first song I wrote myself, like, because up until now I've been much more just on the kind of production kind of vibe, but this one actually started, you know, my own lyrics too. So I'm really excited about that one. And then of course, Green Light, which is coming out on the 14th of May. That's kind of something I'm really, really excited about in regards to something I think would be like a big crossover dance track. So yeah, just so much good stuff coming and on the way, and really excited about it.
And although we've got a room full of mix show DJs and radio programmers, terrestrial, satellite, digital, cable, you are currently featured on the cover of Spotify's Dance List playlist. So congratulations on that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Siedah, I've been asked to ask you.
Wait, I could just listen.
Grammy.
I could listen to Eden Prince speak all day. I really could.
Wow.
I mentioned during your intro that you won a Grammy. John McDaniel from C89 in Seattle asked me, hey, what Grammy did she win? So I see some of the Grammy things behind you. So what was your Grammy for?
Well, those are Grammy certificates, which are projects that I was on that won the Grammy, but I didn't do over 50% of that project. So I get a Grammy certificate, which is a recognition. But my Grammy statuette came in the form of, oh, my husband wants me to show it to you.
We had Blackstreet on, and Blackstreet showed their Grammy too. So we love seeing Grammys.
That's my baby. For Jennifer Hudson's Love You, I Do from the movie Dreamgirls.
Congratulations. Now, before I open it up to questions and get ready for our next guest, Joel Corey, I definitely want to thank Siedah Garrett, Eden Prince, for joining us. Siedah, we heard what Eden Prince is working on. Is there anything that you're working on?
Oh, I'm working on tons of things. First, I want to just thank Tinted Records, and I can't wait to perform your remix, Eden, in the clubs, man. I'm anxious to do that. I am continually working on a musical project that was the film, The Pursuit of Happiness. It is going to be a Broadway musical, and I'm working on that with a few amazing people. I also wrote the end title for the last episode, the final episode of Dear White People, which is coming up very soon on Netflix. And I'm constantly writing songs. I'm working for writing songs for, can I mention? I'm currently writing songs for George Benson, which I'm like totally stoked about. And I have a song on the new upcoming Diana Ross album. So I'm all right. I'm doing good. I'm pleased. I'm moving forward. I'm still able to create and put my creative works out there. And that just makes me so freaking happy. I can't stand it.
So we've got some producers on the call. We've got a Scooter. We've got a Joe Bermudez. Like, I'm looking at some of the people, Triple XL, that work on music separate of like an Eden Prince. If they wanted to get in touch with you.
Yes. Hello.
What would be the best way to do it?
Through my website, through my manager, and he's gonna.
If your manager wants, if your manager's on, if they want to put in the chat room a way to reach out to you, I'm sure that there would be people that would love to talk to you about working on some of their productions. And
I would be totally shaking his head. I can't promise I'll bring any energy or enthusiasm to the project, but I'll see what I can muster up.
I will say this: in the 15 months that I've been hosting this call with the folks that jump on here, you are definitely the most energetic. Love your energy.
Thank you.
We need more of that in today's world. So, thank
I've been stirring it up for a whole year.
I'm going to do this. I know that Joel Corey just joined us, but before we segue over to Joel, and thank you so much, Joel, if anybody has a question for Siedah or for Eden Prince, now would be the time to ask that. I see Scooter raising his hand.
Yeah. So I'm sorry to cut in. Siedah, I'm like a gigantic Michael Jackson fan, and I think you're one of the best storytellers when it comes to like life in general. And I love backstories with songs. So can you just like, I'm familiar with the story, but when you had to present the song to Quincy and writing it with Glenn, I have like the Thriller clock on my wall right now and a Michael Jackson painting in my studio, but I think it's such a unique story how you had to walk in and he had a bunch of suits sitting in his living room. So for like a short version, I think it's just like a really cool story. And I'm very familiar with your work, and I know that I'm youngish, but I just love backstories, and you're one of the best. So God bless you for that.
Thank you. Well, in a nutshell, Glenn and I wrote this song very quickly because 2 years before I was in the studio with my songwriting partner, John Beasley, an amazing jazz pianist. The phone rang, he picked up the phone and began this very banal conversation. And I was upset because I thought we were in the groove writing this song. So I'm flipping through my lyric book and he's saying, no, I'm not doing nothing. Just hang. And I'm going, so I'm still flipping through my book and then I hear him say, the man? What man? Oh, the man in the mirror. I wrote down man in the mirror. 2 years later, I'm with Glenn in his studio. I'm sitting on the floor, flipping through my book. He asked me some questions about what Quincy wants in the song. I had no answers because Quincy said, I want a hit. Okay. So Glenn gets up, he goes to his keyboard and he starts turning on the keyboard to get a sound. The sound he starts to play is dum, 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 dum. While he's playing that, I'm flipping through my book and the lyrics, every time I get goosebumps every time I tell this story. Man in the mirror virtually popped off the page at me. So I wrote Man in the Mirror. Then in 10, 12 minutes, the first verse and chorus to Man in the Mirror was written. Glenn said, it's Wednesday night. Let me finish the track. You go finish the lyrics. And on Friday, we'll demo the song. We did that. Friday night, we finished too late to turn it into the Quest publishing offices. It was like 7:30, 8 o'clock. I called Quincy Jones. And I said, Q, Glenn and I wrote this really great song for Michael. And he said, great, Sid. Turn it in. I'll listen to it maybe Monday or Tuesday, and I'll get back to you. I said, Q, wait, Quincy, no, can I just drop the cassette off? He said, I got 12 suits at my dining room table. I can't, Sid, I'm busy. Quincy, can I? Quincy has 6 daughters. So he knew this little exchange was futile. So he said, all right, come on over. I went to his house. I dropped off this cassette, opened the door. There are 12 suits at his dining room table. And they're looking at me like, what the hell is this? Because we're doing important things in here. This is all the energy I was getting from every face at that table. So I gave Quincy the cassette and I said, Q, the only thing I ask is that you just get back to me just as soon as you can. He said, all right. And he closed the door. I go home. I start making dinner. A couple hours later, the phone rings. Quincy's on the phone. He said, Sid, this is the best song that I've heard in 10 years. I'm like, yes. And they said, and then, when Charlie Brown's teacher talks, all you really hear is, that's all I heard because I was still living in best song in 10 years. So long story short, he ended up telling me that Michael wanted an extended chorus and and he kept talking and he said, hold on, Sid. And then I hear, and then Quincy said, and Michael really wants you to bring home the idea of, hold on. And then I hear, and Quincy said, hold on, Sid. Quincy Jones puts Michael freaking Jackson on the phone. Now, I don't know about y'all, but when I was coming up, Michael was my husband. So in my mind, I'm on the phone with my husband, right? But I did not want to be fangirl. I did not want to be what I was. Oh my God, Michael Jackson. I didn't want to be that. So I flipped the switch, baby, and I went total hotel operator. How can I help you? First thing Michael Jackson said to me was, I love your voice. Thanks. Second thing Michael Jackson said to me was, and I love this song. Then he started talking to me about what he wanted to do to make it, what he wanted to say in the next. All I could think about was, I need to write these next versions. So I did. He recorded it. It was amazing. I met him. Still hotel operator. It was amazing. I just felt like, because I didn't come off as fangirl, it was kind of a different interaction than he's normally used to getting from people that have admired him his whole life and have never met him. It was awesome.
Thank you so much for sharing that. Thank you so much. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it.
Thanks for asking.
Siedah, thank you. Thank you so much, Scooter. Thank you for asking that question. I never like saying goodbye to artists, and you're welcome to stay on the call, Siedah. That was one of the best stories we've heard on this. I want to thank you for joining the call today. I want to thank Eden Prince for joining the call today. I've seen Joel Corey smiling the whole time, so I think Joel loved hearing that story. And Joel, if not for talking about Michael Jackson and Quincy Jones, I appreciate that as a producer. I thank you for your patience. Siedah, Eden, if there's any last things that you want to say. John Holman, you're holding your hand up. I'm going to let you ask the last question before we segue to Joel Corey.
Okay, just real quick, I just want to say, Siedah, you look beautiful. Congratulations to you and Eden on your collaboration. And where did you get the beautiful headpiece? It's beautiful. You look beautiful.
Yes, I don't leave the house. I'm into like decorating my head these days.
You look beautiful.
Royal crowns, like serious. Me and Frida Kahlo, baby. I love it. So I just want to say in closing, I'm so glad we had this time together, just to have a laugh and sing a song. That's all I got. Have a good night, you guys.
Thank you so much, Siedah. Eden, if there's anything you want to say, and thank you so much for joining as well.
Thank you, Cary. Thanks so much, guys. Siedah, you're an absolute legend. This has been a pleasure. This has been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
This is mine, Eden, darling. Call me.
Will do. Will do.